Uh, Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spectre of Anti-Blackness. I am your host, me. Um, uh, it's February, and the year is 2022. So I think 6 years ago, or maybe I think it was 6 years ago, pretty sure. Maybe it released in 2017, I don't remember. But some time ago, um, in the 5 year range. The movie Black Panther first released in theaters. Um, no, it was 2018, 2018, I'm sorry. Because I remember I was dating a girl at the time. We used to go to the movies just because, I don't know, that's what you do, I guess, when you're bored and you have disposable income. And anyway, we would go to the movies and, like, not even know what to watch. Um, it was the week after Black Panther came out. It was still fucking rocking the um the theaters. Um, and Annihilation was playing. And you're like, oh well, let's see this. We went in there not even knowing what to see, and watched it. And man, I loved that movie. I don't know why, but I thought it was great. That is beside the point. But I think I saw Black Panther when it first came out in theaters. Saw it once. I did not go for multiple viewings or anything like that, like everyone was doing. I thought it was just fine. Um, yeah. So I'm finally going to talk about it. There are two main components to Black Panther, and that's Black Panther, like, just as a film, and then Black Panther, everything else behind it, which has to be addressed. It's very important. Um, I don't know a ton of information, but it's pretty much like an almost universally black cast. I know there's like a lot of black people working on it. They did the soundtrack as well. Kendrick and all those folks. Um, Black director. Probably black writers and such. I mean, again, I don't really know how far down it goes. I know it doesn't go way to the top because, at the end of the day, the company's Disney, and they're the ones who's getting all the money from the repeat viewings and all that. But made by black people, starring black people, and about black people. Um, and that is a really that's a not a very big thing to happen nowadays, apart from like maybe a Spike Lee joint. You don't really see that too often, especially in like the mainstream. Um, Also, I gotta talk about Spike Lee's movies at some point on this as well. That might be its own series. Um, but anyway, um, and I've had my gripes with the movie, just not on that end of it, on the film aspect of it, like how it performs as a movie. And I remember voicing it to some of my aunt actually, and she was like, but my son, you know, he's going to Halloween as Black Panther, and that's great because he's got like a black superhero to look up to. Um, which I'm sure it is nice to see, you know, grow up seeing black people on the screen. I think that's a good thing. But on the other hand, I'm kind of like, doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know. I think it does. I think it does. Um, as a person who consumes media and, entertainment and these different forays, I can't really say that it doesn't because, that's something that I look for a lot and something that I pay attention to a lot. But if I wasn't a person who was really into that, and I don't know, I kind of just like was a straight man who didn't watch TV and I don't know, lived off the land or something. maybe it wouldn't matter too much. But TV is a part of my life. I won't lie. And so I think it is important to have black faces and black voices and that sort of thing. Um, but I think we can do much better than Black Panther. Again, I don't really know who wrote it, but like the story is not that great, man. The acting is great. The acting is fine to me. The music's good. Um, the story kind of sucks, if you ask me. Um, I've seen Black Panther a few times. Like I've done like the whole MCU watch, you know. And honestly, Black Panther is one of the movies I can't really get through. Like I want to, but I usually end up like watching some of it, then just skipping. I'm like, yeah, I know what happens. I don't really need to see this again because nothing about the story is really engaging. Um, they really try to like pull off this T'Challa dies in the middle. What to, who really? Come on, there's no way he's fucking dead. Um, I don't know. There's a lot. Maybe I should watch it again before like fully getting into this. But here I am. Maybe I'll go back. But for now, I'm just rolling with it. Let's do it. Um, I know that there's this part that everybody really loves, where T'Challa has beaten Killmonger and he's sitting there dying, and he's like, let me get your help. And he's like, no, I'd rather die and throw me in the water because that's better than bondage. And I'm just sitting here like, who, like, why bondage? Who's gonna, is he really gonna lock him up? Like, that seems like such a stupid fucking, like, why? Like, I understand he tried to, he did the quote unquote bad thing and, he tried to, he didn't even really overthrow him. Like, he had a right in what he was doing. He challenged him fairly and all this sort of thing. Um, and yeah, he made some like crazy moves because he's working on the colonizer type mindset. But bondage? Why would they lock him up? I don't know. I mean, like, just fix him up and he can just chill, right? Like, he doesn't have to. Were they really gonna throw him in jail or like what was that? Always rang very weird to me, and I can never really feel the gravity of that line that they were really trying to like have happen. Um, because of the situation surrounding it, which is dumb to me. You know. What else? Lupita felt completely wasted in this movie. Um, Structurally, it just feels kind of odd with like the flashbacks and like the kind of like reveals that they try to have and such. Um, I think I will watch it again actually. So the first half of this is gonna be me kind of just like going off of what I remember about it and kind of just spitballing. But then because it's late now and I want to go to bed after this, but once I kind of finish up here tomorrow, I'll watch it again and then I will talk about it more in depth. But let's see if there's anything else I want to say now. I guess just that again, like, as a moment in filmmaking, I think Black Panther was, monumental in this sort of way, breaking box office records and this sort of thing. But kind of like with the Spider-Man game I talked about, but it feels like to a much larger extent here because the Spider-Man game, who cares about that? It's like a very small game, but Black Panther was fucking huge. Um, and we really told Disney that, like, bro, I don't fucking care how good the movie is. Just put black people in it, and I'm gonna watch it a bunch of times. Um, I'm gonna break my bank supporting this movie. Um, And so I don't know. I mean, I understand speaking with your wallet, but like I feel like we should still be asking for more, not just we don't just want, any old, you know, you don't just want black faces. We actually want like good stories. You know, maybe I'm too hard on the movie. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it again tomorrow to really get a feel for it. Um, but yeah, that's initial thoughts about Black Panther. I didn't hate it, but I just really feel a lot of nothing for it, except for like kind of mild disappointment and annoyance, and like certain things about it I feel like are dumb. Um, but I like the character of Black Panther. I like Black Panthers in general. Um, but I'll get into the nuances tomorrow. And so this will be like a little interlude. I'm gonna put some music or something. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna try and sleep some. It's been a long day. Actually, it hasn't really, but you know. Yes, and just like that, I have returned, and your mind has been uh bamboozled by technology. For you, only a few seconds have passed. For me, it's been 23 hours since I recorded the first part of this episode. I just finished watching the Black Panther movie. And I wanna preface a few things before I begin this revisiting of Black Panther. Um, for one, uh, movie reviewing is it's subjective, and I feel like I don't really want to get into that because any uh you know any thoughts or feelings I may have about like actions that characters take and that sort of thing. That's not really an objective criticism of the movie, so I can't really get into like oh this guy did a thing that was stupid. Like that can really just boil down the character. I can't really use that as an objective um, look at the film. I don't remember when the last time I saw this movie was. Again, like I said, I usually skip it. Um, but I'm glad I revisited because I was wrong, guys. This is a good movie. I like this movie. Um, I like it a fair bit. It's actually pretty good. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna let's get into it. Um, there are a number of things I like about this movie. Um, it is pleasantly funny. It's not overly funny. Most of the jokes land well. Even the cheesy "where are those" joke still lands today, even though like it was dated even when the movie came out because it's a brother and brother and sister are joking about it. Like that's it. That it feels natural. Um, so yeah, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind most of the jokes. Maybe one or two didn't quite land, but I was actually, I was engaged. I was entertained. I was laughing, not hard or anything, like chuckles and that sort of thing. But the comedy was good. The music again is amazing. Um, there's like sounds that are done in this movie that I've never heard done in any other movies, and that are just distinctly Black Panther. Like even one note, you're like, okay, yeah, I know where this is from. Um, let's see what else. I didn't mind the story. The story's fine, honestly. Um, I had no issues with that. I mean, things are predictable, sure, but like it's a story. It's gonna follow story format. And again, I won't really get into that too much here now today. I like the traveling to the ancestral realm that's done. Happens three times in the movies, and it's just a cool concept that isn't really explored much. and Marvel at large. Like they really just dropped in there, like yeah, you like ancestors. That shit's real. Like yeah, spirits. Like yeah, you can really just like fucking. There's an ancestral plane. This whole thing. That's pretty cool. The action in the movie is good. It's fine. Um, it's kind of just there. Like it's not the best Marvel's ever done, but maybe Marvel just doesn't do good action anyway. I haven't seen a Marvel movie in a little bit. But yeah, it was nothing to write home about. And actually, the CGI is already dated, like now, but it wasn't like egregious. It doesn't look like bad. It just looks noticeably not real. But I still thought it was fine. I think it was fucking. It was punk as hell that like T'Challa was just like he just straight up refused to die until he fixed the issues of the past. And the hand that Africa played. Well, Wakanda specifically, but I'm looking at this as kind of like on a broader scale, broader perspective. But the part that his people had to play in like the plight of African diaspora people around the world, specifically in America, it digests. Sorry, not digest. I don't remember the word I'm looking for in this situation. But I was watching this movie, a little tangent here, and incarceration was the word I was looking for in the last podcast I was doing. Mass incarceration. He said that in this movie, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I was looking for that word the other day. But also bringing to the point that this movie really tackles the issues going on in the world right now very, very well, I think. Um, I like that T'Challa's able to stand up to his ancestors and be like, "Y'all fucking made the wrong choice, man." Um, that's metal as hell. That's very cool. Um, and I feel like that's something that could very easily be discussed. Like this movie is good, man. It's good. I'm sorry that like it was difficult for me to see that before. Um, but it is good. I like that Killmonger. I mean, come on. What can I say about Killmonger that hasn't been said before? My opinions on him haven't changed. He's always just been a spectacular villain, and it's really important. He's extremely important. He's an example of like how bad it can get over here. I see a lot of Killmongers all the time. People who have embraced the way of a colonizer. Beat them at their own game. That's his whole thing, and hatred just begets more hatred. I don't think that's the way to solve it. You don't fight fire with fire. With fire, you fight it with water. You know, you fight hatred with solidarity. I don't remember how the quote goes, but capitalism with socialism, all that good stuff. Racism with solidarity. I don't know. Um, my man, Freddie Hamp there, but that's getting off tangent. I feel like his viewpoint and T'Challa's viewpoint and just the viewpoint of the Wakandans is a very nice and important juxtaposition. And I think on this viewing, I finally understand his death. Um, yeah, I get it now. I mean, it wasn't like, I mean, I don't know. I kind of don't want to explain it, but I kind of feel like I have to because I talked so much last time on how I didn't understand it, and I was like, oh, he doesn't have to die, but that was just a choice that he made. Like the other choice didn't necessarily have to be bondage, but there wasn't really like a lot of talking in between that. He's kind of just like, nope, I'm choosing to die, and that's his prerogative. Good for him. I still think some things in the movie are silly, and I think some things didn't have to happen and were kind of just like put in there for the sake of movie, I guess. But again, like none of that, it barely bothered me this time. I enjoyed watching it the whole way through, honestly. Um, so that's my thoughts on the movie, like just as a film, which is a complete 180 from the beginning of this. So if you got through, like, if you were sitting through the beginning, you're like, oh, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and you stopped listening, well, I'm sorry you felt that way. But if you felt that way and you kept listening, yeah, you told me so, or you thought me so, or whatever. Yeah, okay, fine. And I've seen this movie a few times. I don't know why this time I'm having this completely different viewing of it. Maybe it's just because I've grown a lot since then. Um, but yeah, this movie it's a good one. So implications. Um, it okay. So this is not a perfect movie. I do want to say that. I would give a solid like a 7-ish, 8-ish out of 10. Um, and no, looking back on it, like I feel like now that my entire view has changed, um, I think good implications are being made here for the most part. Um, the one thing that fell just a little flat for me was the solution at the end. Like I understand that Wakanda's now gonna try and go out and like do aid, but I don't know. I would have liked to see a little more like what's that aid really gonna look like? Like outreach centers sounds kind of eh. I mean, I don't know. Um, maybe we can do something a little better than that. Um, but yeah, that's that was fine. Um, I want to talk about a little bit about Killmonger and his you know, we're gonna show them who we are, and I feel like that's an excellent point that needs to be I'd like to discuss here and now, um, because I think he was wrong in that. That's not who we are. We are not the colonizers. We're not the conquerors, and I think there are different ways to go about bringing about the change that we want in the world, without just like doing onto others that's been done to us. Like he's like, oh, we're gonna be the kings now. We're gonna be on the top. Because of course he's still working on that colonizer mindset. Um, but I would have liked if the movie tried to explore a little bit more, like the different ways that we could go about that instead. Like an outreach centers falls a little flat for me. Maybe a little bit of maybe they introduce a little bit of socialism to the world. I don't know. I mean, maybe vibranium is socialism. I don't know. I don't even know if socialism is the answer. I'm just saying shit. Um, yeah, I'm not too well read on different types of government and such. Um, I do consider myself a leftist, as I've said before. But this is getting off into other things. I finally understand this movie. Um, and I finally just enjoyed it more than I usually do. Like, I think just because I wasn't trying to look at it critically and like, oh, the why'd they have this fight scene in there twice? Like, oh, the little challenge scene that could have only been in there once. Like, why even try to scrutinize a movie like that, man? I'm not in the writer's room. I don't know what had to be cut and what had to be added in and all this kind of good stuff. Um, they made a movie, which is honestly, that's a feat in and of itself. And all a 90% black movie, two white guys in it with speaking roles, if I can remember correctly, and one of them dies, and the other one is Bilbo from the Shire. Um, but yeah, I do now feel differently about this movie, and it's a good movie. So this one gets the stamp of approval. Good black movie. Good job. Sorry about the first part of this podcast of me kind of riding on this. What else did I say in the beginning that like I feel differently about? Lupita's not wasted. She's in it sufficiently, and she's great in it. Um, yeah, no, I feel like everything I said then, like, man, I feel differently about now. So thank you, Self, for wanting to make this podcast and wanting to make an episode about Black Panther and then deciding to rewatch it instead of just continuing with that old stale viewpoint of things and kind of just riding with that. We made a good call there, so high fives around for everyone. If no one's around a high five, you if someone is, just ask for a quick high five, and if they ask why, just say, hey, it's just a podcast thing. But if there's no one around, just high five yourself. I'm gonna do it here too. All right. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's a nice length. It's about 2 hours. It's colorful. I like the Afrofuturism going on. It's very nice. Honestly, there's a lot to like about it, and I can't really. I was thought to write stuff down, but then I was like, nah, I don't like writing stuff down, so I didn't. I just wanted to enjoy the movie. So if I think of anything else while I'm kind of and wrapping this up here, I'll touch back on it. But things I want to revisit next. The next episode may be The Harder They Fall, which I will rewatch to do this episode on, or maybe I don't remember what else was on the list. I have to listen back to the old episodes to see what I was gonna do, because I don't write stuff down. I'm sorry, guys. I think that's it though. So on revisiting Black Panther, just to wrap everything up. I first saw the movie. I thought it was fine. Didn't really see what the big deal about it was. And on subsequent viewings, I usually get like some of the way through and then just stop watching. I'm sure, like I've seen it fully maybe, I don't know, 4 times maybe, if not maybe a little more. I've done a few of the MCU watches. I'll say it's fair to say I've sat through the whole thing maybe about 4 times. But I have tried to watch it more than that, and usually I don't get through the beginning. But it's been a while since I tried to watch it, at least like a year or two. Call it a year and a half maybe. I don't know. COVID's making time weird, but yeah, no, it's good. My mistake all. And thanks for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one, which will probably be coming out soon. I don't know if I'm kind of spitfire and getting these things out quick because it's Black History Month, or just because I'm feeling like I want to do this now. I'm lying. I do know why. It's because I want to do it. I don't really care about. I'm not going to say that. But, okay, I have nothing else to say. So, again, thanks for listening. I hope that, I hope if you fall asleep in a weird way, you don't get a crick in your neck. And that you don't wake up with one of your nostrils stuffy, that they're both clear. And if not, if either of those things happen to you, I hope it's resolved quickly. Here's usually what I do if I wake up and one of my nostrils is stuffy. Say my left one is stuffy, right? And I can only really breathe out of the right. I will turn and lay on the right side of my face for a little while, and then slowly I start breathing out of the nostril that's in the air, which is the left one. That one clears up, so I kind of do that until my nose is all good. That's a little tip for you if you didn't know that. That works for me. Maybe it won't for you, but with that, thanks for listening, and I hope you guys have a good time, whatever time it is. It's night for me, so You can say again. I'm probably not gonna hear it, but I would appreciate it anyway. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Okay, so yeah, I know this episode is over, and I'm sorry. I just thought of one more thing about it, which is, I guess, not kind of on the implication side, but not really. But I just wanted to real quick just muse a little bit over how the fact that even though this is a good movie and it's made by black people and that sort of thing, and like, people saw it in droves and it was like really this smash hit, and honestly it's a good movie. I can't complain there. I mean, I wouldn't have saw it more in theaters more than once, but I don't knock people who did. But regardless, still at the end of the day, it's under the umbrella of Marvel and Disney, and I wonder, like, is it wrong? I guess this is more of a question that I'm posing more than something I have an answer to. But like, we're still giving our money to and kind of supporting these companies that maybe we shouldn't. But I don't know. I don't really have the answers to that. I just thought that's something. That's a thing. You know, that's something I think about. Disney has not always been great in terms of race and that sort of thing. They really don't know how to handle it these days. So I'm glad that we have this movie, and maybe we can just get like more black voices in Disney, tell more black stories, and maybe we'll just eventually push out other shit and actually start like telling. I don't want to like take over Disney, I don't think, and like have only black stories being told. But like I think we're headed in the right direction there. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But again, I'll just end this with I like Black Panther now. Good movie. Who knows implications wise? I don't think. Uh, it was such a cultural phenomenon. I don't really think enough time has passed for me to talk about implications yet. Truly. So yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. Okay, bye. Go do what you were doing.